Welcome to another episode of Two Brothers, Same Mother. Of course, we got Sheik as well as AJ discussing the birds or just what we've seen of the birds. I mean, it's the score says 33-22. But if you just go by the second and third quarter, Eagles were outscored 30-0. Is this the worst team in the NFL?
Well,
I mean, to me, like the only other two people that I could think of that where I'm like, nah, they're better than them are the Jets and Texans. That's it.
Maybe the Lions. We'll find out Sunday. Bottom line is a lot of these issues is fucking because of Howard.
Yep.
It's because of the people we have in these positions.
That was the last thing I was going to close with, but I just wanted to open up with this. And so we'll come back to Howard. But let's go into, I want to start with the offense and really with Nick Sirianni, because that first drive looked decent. You know, you had a nice little mix of run and pass. It wasn't RPO-esque in the sense of it looked like Hurts was able to snap the ball, make one read, maybe make a second read. I didn't see anything where it looked like he went through like three progressions. If you did, let me know. But like, it seemed like, all right, it was a reasonable pro offense that was being run, and you got a nice result out of it. What is it going to take for this coaching staff to run the offense very similar to what they did on the first drive?
I have no idea. I went back and watched it and kind of tried to break it down. Like, they don't have the all 22, so you don't have the top view. So right. I could only do a certain amount. But okay, so when I went back, I thought they ran that offense on their second drive, which Miles got hurt. They didn't. They had, like you said, they had the first drive, which me and you and I have been bitching about, mix it up under center. They didn't run one RPO on that whole first drive, right? So you had 8 plays, you had 5 runs, 3 passes, okay? So when you do so that was perfectly fine. But you came out and the first thing is because actually the second drive was off the interception.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
then,
right, yes.
And then all of a sudden you're doing the RPO shit again. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Whenever a coach starts bringing, well, this is what the chart told me, you lost me. Okay? Whether that was Doug last year or right. Doc Rivers in basketball, or whenever a coach starts talking, analytics is supposed to be a tool. It's not supposed to be the deciding factor.
Yeah, it's not supposed to.
And it's driving me nuts. Like, you might as well have IBM Watson coach the team then.
Yeah, the chart is code word for analytics.
It's book. Like, Siri, what do we do on 3rd and 13?
Be honest with you, in Philly, a lot of people getting on Sirianni today. A lot of people getting on Hurts on this offense. I'm not even really mad at the offense.
And that's my transition. It is Gannon, who, to me, listen, I like Gannon from Zelda, who is the evil person trying to destroy the world, better than this Gannon. He's the worst Gannon ever in the history of life. This guy is awful. I don't understand how his secondary sucks. His linebacker sucks. His defensive, and it's the theories that he has behind it. The best thing you had going for you was Hargrave pushing the pocket up right into the quarterback's face. And now you want these dudes to do mush rushes to guard screens? The hell are you doing?
It's horrible. So when they say that, like, what he's saying, it's like, basically, there's a local high school, and I'm not going to say their name, but there's a local high school. Their initials are EHS, who has a dipshit defensive coordinator, and I don't care who's watching this, who does the same thing, who has their defensive line wants to tie up to keep the linebackers clean so the linebackers can eat. The issue is you line your linebackers 5 to 7 yards off the ball. Makes no sense.
The defensive coordinator for Edison High School in Philadelphia is very puzzled right now why you're getting on his case. But anyway.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense. And then you line your safeties up in Reno.
Right. To me, it's not knowing your personnel, not trying to know your personnel. And we are now in week 6. We're about to head into week 8. You went through a training camp. You sold, and that's the whole thing. You sold us on we're going to play with what we got and put them in the best position. And y'all aren't trying anything different. As you have said to me privately, we've also said this publicly on the show. If you're trying different stuff and it don't work, I'd rather you try to blitz and maybe Kayvon Wallace just isn't good enough to get there in time and they hit you with a bomb than just this death by paper cut. This we're going to do a zone and the quarterback knows right off the bat. Do you know how hard, bro?
There's nothing.
32 for 35 for Derek Carr?
And one of them was an interception. He literally threw 2 incomplete passes. Literally, Seth Joyner said it perfectly. What they line up in pre-snap is where they are. So the quarterback doesn't even really have to scan. Okay, that's where they are. All right. I can direct. Hey, he only go back up. You go right here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I heard
make it easy. There's not one fucking linebacker, no safety walking up, no corner walking up like he's going to blitz and then back out. Like, none of that. And the crazy thing is in training camp, all I heard was about all these different looks that he showed. And
Right.
everybody, all the Eagles insiders are like, where is it?
I heard somebody say this, and it's a simplistic explanation. But you ever have somebody, we played Madden football, the video game. And sometimes you can get away with just running 4 defenses and 4 offensive plays because they work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The computer play action works because the computer does not take into effect, for the most part, that, hey, you haven't run the ball the last 4 games. It doesn't work like that in real life. And these dudes look like they playing Madden. But I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to move in briefly into a little bit about Jalen Hurts, and then we're going to get on Roseman because we got to spend some time with Roseman. Okay? If somehow, some way, this week coming up, Jared Goff goes 32 for 35, can we just make sure Gannon isn't allowed to step foot in Philadelphia ever again? I don't want anything bad to happen to the man. I just don't want him to be allowed back in the city.
I mean, I kind of want him to stub his pinky toe, but
okay, that could happen.
I think the best style of defense we could play with this team, if you with the personnel that you have, is what you ran against Carolina, where for the most part, yeah, there was times where you went cover 2 shell, which cover 2 shell is normally like if you have like a 3 touchdown lead and you try not to let the quarterback bang.
Right.
But if you want to run a cover 2 shell here and there, that's fine. But when they ran that cover 1, where they walked the safety up to the, walked the safety up a little bit, had some linebackers in the gaps, things of that nature. Yeah, you won't give up a play here and there, and you may even give up a deep pass. But I'd rather you give up a deep pass for like 25 yards, and get them to the 50, but then the next play is a sack and da-da-da-da-da. You get what I'm saying? Instead of just keep 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 6. Like, I want you – here. You're a numbers guy. You're a stats guy, way more than I am. You're a stats guy. Here's a stat for you. After the Raiders' first drive, which they faced 3 third downs, they could, in that drive. Since that first drive that they had, they went 37 straight plays where they didn't face a third down.
You know how hard that is? And on top of that, they were bombing the ball downfield. It wasn't like it's crazy.
37 straight plays without reaching. That means first down, second down, first down, second down, first down, second.
Gannon got to go, man. Listen, look, okay? I don't know much Eagles history. I wasn't around the Richie Kotype days. You know what I'm saying? As far as I was, but I wasn't. I was young. Okay. And he had a ton of talent. Okay. And obviously, I think you were extremely young. I wasn't around for Marion Camp. Okay. But, bro, Emmett Thomas, Jim Johnson, Jim Schwartz, even Billy Davis. You can say what you want. I looked at them as professional coaches. Might be get mad at them, be pissed off at their strategy. The sticks thing drove me nuts, but I looked at them as professional coaches. I don't look at this Gannon dude as a professional coach.
Like I said, there's a local high school coach high school coach that we consider that's beneath high school level, and you at the top of the line running that type of shit.
Can you name how many players that are on the Eagles roster that Howie has drafted that have been elected to a Pro Bowl? Not like some third alternate guy that have been elected to the Pro Bowl.
Nope, because you always hear conflicting reports. Only ones I could think of that are currently on the roster, maybe Kelsey and Lane.
Kelsey was not Howie. Lane was. Lane gets credit. That was Chip's first year, technically.
Yeah.
Charged in the draft. That's it.
Kelsey wasn't a part of.
Kelsey
maybe
was
a
under
part of
Andy.
decision making.
Under Andy. Andy was in charge of the draft. When
Yeah,
Kelsey was in the draft. The fact that and like you could go down the roster of people that he's drafted. So like, all right, yeah, you can see Goddard making a Pro Bowl. If Sanders ever gets used correctly and stays healthy, you can see him make a Pro Bowl. But like, you go down, maybe Devontae Smith if you figure out what's going on with the QB. You know what I mean? Because Hurts, and I kind of skipped over Hurts, and I'll just touch on this briefly. Love Jalen Hurts as a person. He's not a guy that can carry an offense. No. He is your typical, to me, he looks like, and this could change, a backup quarterback that if you need him to fill in for 4 or 5 games, he'll give you a shot in the arm and do his thing. But you need a very talented team around him.
I think he could be a very good starter with the latter aspect of what you just said.
He has to be the third best player on your offense.
I think he could be a top 15. And what, you know what I mean? If he had the talent around him, you get what I'm saying? Like if you had a Devontae Smith and if you had a talent around him, a good solid defense,
for a season, Jared Goff was top 15. So yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jared Goff took a team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, Jared Goff was on a team that went to the Super Bowl. I don't know if he took him there.
Right. But
maybe
he
was carried Aaron Donald's bags, but
right. But what I'm saying is, you know what I mean, and I think he could be better than Jared Goff.
But you said this to me, and it made sense. You want to get a quarterback in here that you know is going to be your starter for the next 10 years. And
10 to 15, yeah.
Yeah, and Hurts just ain't got the arm. He doesn't have the arm. His decision making isn't there, which you can work on. That's something you definitely can work on. You know, the fact that, kid, if you got somebody, just take the 4 yards. You can work on that. That's something that great quarterbacks have had issues with. The guy in Indy right now, he's still working on that. Or you see some of the stuff, but when you don't have the arm and you don't have the height, and you're really jittery and you've never really shown great pocket presence in high school, college, or pro, that's a lot to overcome.
At least Drew Brees had pocket presence. Drew Brees never had a big arm and he was small, but he could climb a pocket like no other. Man.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And
Drew, you know who Hurts reminds me of? Honestly, is Jeff Garcia.
Yeah.
Jeff Garcia didn't have a huge arm, but everybody always rallied around him. He was a rah-rah guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
He you know what I mean? Everybody loved him. He never gave up. He had, you know what I'm saying? He could scramble a little bit. Now, of course, Jalen's more elusive than he is and more athletic, but Jeff Garcia wasn't a statue either, but Jeff Garcia also was more accurate. But you know what I'm saying? I can see him being like a modern day Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, but it goes back to that Howard Roseman guy. And I heard people listen.
So outside of 2016, he had an okay draft. 2017,
it was 2016. The big thing was the trade up to get Carson.
Right, and then getting rid of all those. But 2017 is he got executive of the year, but it wasn't because of his draft. It was because of all the free agent signings that he won.
2017. You might be able to find 1 or 2. But just about every running back in that draft that got drafted could play, except the guy we got. Every single one. Every single one. I'm not saying you had to get Cooks. I would have loved to have Dalvin Cook, but not Brandon Cooks, but Dalvin Cook. I'm not saying you had to have him. I'm not saying you had to trade up to get Leonard Fournette. No, but bro, I mean, and I know I'm beating the force, but you could have got Kamara. You could have got my man that's doing his thing for the Chargers. You go down the list, and then it's the same draft for Rager. Listen, all the thing about Justin Jefferson and all that. Okay, I wanted Jefferson. It happens. Or like the whole thing with DK Metcalf and JJ Whiteside. But the Rager draft, that draft, there is about 10 receivers making an impact right now, and Rager's just a guy.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, you take out 2017, that's it. But we're sticking because people are going to say, well, he won. It wasn't because of the draft. It was because of all the free agents picks he made and the trades and stuff he made. That's why he got executive of the year. But we're just talking about the draft here. So you look at 2016 to 2021. That's 5 years of drafts. 1 year was good. The other 4 were shit.
Right.
Like, I don't even know if there's anybody on this team from the fucking 2016 or 2017 draft.
I'm about to say,
other than Derek Barnett.
The 2016 draft, I believe, was the Sayamalu. Yeah, Sayamalu, Wentz. And here's the thing. Sayamalu was a 3rd-round pick. Then that was Smallwood, Vitae, Jalen Mills, I guess, in the 7th round once again.
Right.
Lake Countess, Alex McAllister. I mean, like, we've already gone through 2017. The only person that's still on the team is Barnett.
Once again, I'm sitting on the futon in my basement recording a fucking YouTube show, right?
Right.
So, I'm allowed to be wrong. You can't. So, not you. Like, we're allowed to be wrong. But Jeffrey Lurie was actually leaning towards Josh McDaniels, and Howie Roseman was the one that talked him into Sirianni. I was not a Josh McDaniels fan, but I think Josh McDaniels would have been a lot better than
McDaniels would have told Howie Roseman where he could stick it.
Yeah, go back in that little office, bitch.
Yeah. Listen, we can talk about this more and more. We're going to talk about the Eagles-Lions game. Talk about a game where the NFL probably wished blackouts still existed. But we're going to do that a little later on. Keep on checking out our other segments right here on YouTube. And of course, if you listen on the podcast, we got other segments up. Two Brothers, Same Mother.